Greetings and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Nana Gyesie. I'm your transformational coach and master energetic air architect here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks understand the trauma-informed basis of limiting self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to overcome it. Today, I want to talk about the topic of related to empath's awakening, particularly for empaths, why your gifts are meant for service, not for self. Why your gifts are meant for service and not for self. This is a living transmission calibrated to realign your field to higher service consciousness. And today we pierce the dangerous illusion afflicting many empaths at this time of global awakening. You may believe that your newfound gifts are for you, for your comfort, for your superiority, for your fame, and so on. But let us be precise. Your gifts, by their very design, are not for your self-aggrandizement. They are entrusted to you to become an instrument of liberation. Liberation for yourself and for others. This is the key to your energetic sovereignty and to ensure you don't collapse and fall into traps of ego and duality. So you remain largely in the field of non-duality, because this is the purpose of accessing your gifts, so you avoid these traps. So let's go into some evidence about this. The science and the research from neuroscience is very clear, particularly this is a little dated research, but it's still relevant. Research done by Gyesie and Laham and Singer and others between 2006 and in the early 2000s revealed that empaths exhibit amplified activation in the anterior insular part of the brain, the medial prefrontal cortex, and the somatosensory cortices. These are all the areas governing compassion, social understanding, and emotional resonance. This is what was discovered from neuroscience. Further, from an evolutionary anthropological standpoint, particularly referencing the work by Sarah Hardy, she contended that empathy evolved as an interpersonal glue, ensuring that species survive by promoting care, attunement, and cooperative living. But the crucial insight here is that the neurological infrastructure for empathic sensitivity evolved for interconnection and service, not individual dominance. And to hoard these gifts for self-aggrandizement violates their biological and evolutionary function and creates dissonance at the neurophysiological levels, particularly because the empath's body is literally designed to serve as an antenna, not a pedestal. In esoteric schools, whether it's Hermeticism or the Kabbalah and Egyptian mystery schools, gifts were viewed in these mystery schools as sacred endowments from the upper planes and astral hierarchies. Hermetic law specifically states that which is not used rightly will be taken away. And in some occult doctrine, misuse of gifts for ego leads to energetic inversion, where the faculties granted to liberate become the doors through which lower astral energies attach themselves. This is why so many self-proclaimed healers and psychics collapse into burnout, ego inflation, or psychic attack. This is because they wield gifts without honoring their original purpose or service. Further, in occult alchemical language, your empathic gift is a prima materia, a raw energetic substance intended for transmutation into the philosopher's stone, not for you to flaunt, but to refine, purify, and use to transmute the density of collective suffering into liberated light. Do you see? So when you go even further into the notion of the archetype of the humble servant, across exoteric traditions globally, the path of humility is not moralistic piety. It is energetic architecture. So for example, in Islam, the true human deity is as Abd, like Abdallah Abd, the servant. not sovereign unto the self, but surrendered unto divine will, right? That in Christianity, the archetype of Christ as the suffering servant exemplifies the empath who carries burdens not to glorify themselves, but to transmute them for the salvation of others. It's kind of like the Bodhisattva path. In the Buddha Dharma, the Bodhisattva verse is very clear, where it says, may I attain enlightenment not for myself, but for all beings. These are not mere codes of conduct, but vibrational safeguards to ensure that the human vessel does not collapse under the energetic weight of its gifts. So, key notification point here, the absence of humility in the empath leads to energetic distortion and karmic entanglement, whereas the presence of humility acts as an auric shield, keeping the channel pure. Good friend of mine, Cheryl, who I practice with, often says, has said these words, so that's where I got them from, particularly in the Buddha Dharma. Not me, not mine, not myself. Not me, not mine, not myself. So now, with that said, it's important to go even deeper into this transmission as we kind of bring it all together. From a morphogenetic field perspective, every empath who activates their gifts contributes to the shaping of collective energetic fields. In other words, your humility or lack thereof determines the resonant quality of that contribution. And further, from a quantum field theory, the empath's intention collapses or maintains the waveform of possibility, meaning when your gift is oriented towards service, you maintain coherence of the field and open multidimensional pathways for healing. Whereas when you orient it toward ego, you collapse the field into self-serving limitation and block the natural flow of energetic abundance. So quantum coherence requires not just energetic sensitivity, it does, but a disciplined alignment of intention, which is service above self. You know, sort of like what the Rotarians say, service above self. This is why those who seek to monetize, brand, or glorify their gifts without genuine service orientation experience energetic drain, reputational collapse, and spiritual disintegration over time. In the spiritual economics of this new era, the post-material fifth density economy emerging globally as the old structures collapse, service is the supreme currency. See? And we experience this global collapse because we're moving from globalization to something new. It's all a reaction to globalization. So every gift you wield carries an energetic transaction. Given with humility, credit accrues in the soul ledger. Given with ego, karmic debt accrues. And if anything I'm saying here resonates with you, type transform in the comment section or book a free session on my website, innermileage.com. But I want to say everything I'm saying to you is not esoteric fantasy. This is the new spiritual accounting structure operating behind every empathic interaction. Meaning your true wealth as an empath is measured by how much light you circulate through service, not by how much admiration or material gain you attract. This is very key. So some practical tools include a discernment practice. Before using my gift, ask who's this for. Is it for my ego or is it for their liberation? Use intentional breath work to clear residual ego vibrations. Have a daily service vow. For example, may these gifts serve the collective awakening of all beings, including myself. And witness your consciousness anchor. In every interaction, adopt a neutral witnessing posture to prevent the ego from subtly hijacking the service act for personal validation. So the point is, beloved empath, your awakening is not about your comfort, it's about your consecration. You're not just a sensitive being, you are an energy architect, a morphogenetic field calibrator, and a quantum field. And a morphogenetic field calibrator meaning that you can enable the awakening of others. But to fulfill this role, you must master the vibrational technology of humility and service. This is not optional. This is the energetic law governing this incarnation for the empathic soul. Therefore, honor your gifts not by hoarding them, but by humbly offering them as keys that liberate other beings from suffering. Through this offering, you will find your own supreme freedom. I hope this resonated with you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Keep ascending. Peace and light.